What's up, guys, and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. In the comment section the other day, somebody said, hey, can you do the top 10 leaders in the game? And I thought, that's a great idea. This list does not include General Grievous. In 3 days, there's a 99.5% chance that General Grievous is going to be included in this list. So know that one of these characters in here could easily be replaced with General Grievous, and most likely will be. I just wanted to get this done now, so don't think that I'm counting out General Grievous. He's just not quite reworked yet. Now, I do have the top 10 plus 5 honorable mention, but the honorable mention are characters that would fill in for characters you don't have. For instance, I have Revan on the list. If you don't have Revan in the honorable mention, there is Bastila. So you'll kind of figure it out as we go. Also, 4 days ago, I decided to do something drastic, something I promised I would never do. Since 3PO came out, which is what, 2-3 months ago now, there has been an infinite loop, or being able to solo Phase 3 of the Heroic Sith Raid with the Zeta Finn lead. It's been 2 or 3 months. I went, okay, maybe they're just okay with it. So 4 days ago, thinking that I'm going to make a great video teaching you guys how to solo Phase 3 of the Heroic Sith Raid with the Zeta Finn lead. So I was pumped, and no, I only did this for the purposes of the video because it's not something I really like to do, but I thought it'd be a good video. Some other people have made them, but I like to describe things my own way. So of course, 4 days ago, I put a Zeta on Finn. What do they come out with 3 days ago? We're nerfing Finn for the Sith Raid. Now, in some areas, people think they buffed him, but the only reason I put the Zeta on him was for the Heroic Sith Raid. I used JTR in all other instances. 20 Zetas down the tube for one video. And they couldn't have fixed this earlier. The one thing that's frustrating is I really wish that they would give us a refund. Now, I understand that Finn has been probably one of the top Zetas in the game for the entirety of the game so far. And he was able to, do things where the other team wouldn't even get an attack in because of all the expose and turn meter gained. But seriously, I don't know if I'm the only one, probably the only one in the game out of how many millions of people play that decided to Zeta him 4 days ago just for the Heroic Sith raid, and then a day later they decide to nerf him for that. After 2 or 3 months, I thought they'd maybe fix it right away. So yes, I would like a refund on that. That is 20 Zetas down the tube. But hey, it's also partially my decision. I made the decision, so if I have to stick with it, I will. Let's get to the list. I'm going to go over the characters' leadership abilities and read them, and I'm going to let you know if they're Zeta or non-Zeta, and if the leadership ability actually needs to be Zeta to be dominant. First is Revan, the best leader in the game, still in the opinion, the top leader in the game, and it's his General of the Old Republic ability. To really make this work, you want it Zeta'd. At the start of battle, Jedi and Old Republic allies gain plus 5 speed, plus 5% crit chance, and plus 5 offense percent for each Jedi and each Old Republic ally. At the start of battle, Jedi allies gain tenacity up for 1 turn. While Revan is in the leader slot and not the ally slot, units are immune to bonus turn meter effects from leader abilities until the start of the first turn of battle. Whenever a Jedi ally attacks out of turn, they recover 20% of their max protection and deal 35% more damage. When a Jedi ally uses a basic ability on an enemy with bonus protection, reduce the target enemy's max health by 10% stacking. This doesn't work against raid bosses. At the start of each Jedi ally's turn, they gain strategic advantage if no ally has strategic advantage. A Jedi ally with strategic advantage can't be countered. What does a strategic advantage do? Dispel all debuffs on target other Jedi ally. They gain strategic advantage and assist using their basic ability. This character uses their basic ability and loses strategic advantage. So yes, best Jedi leadership in the game, hands down. Definitely a character you should be striving for if you don't have him. I don't know how much longer he'll be meta, especially with Grievous. I hope he can share the meta for a while, and maybe until Darth Malak or Darth Revan comes out. We're not sure. But the next character, obviously, is Traya, and to make her leadership ability awesome, you want it Zeta'd as well. Sith allies have plus 40% critical avoidance and plus 40% potency. When a debuffed enemy takes damage, all allies recover 10% health. When an enemy uses an ability outside of their turn, they take damage equal to 35% of their max health. This damage can't defeat enemies. When an enemy gains a buff outside of their turn, they lose 50% offense until the end of their next turn. Best Sith leader in the game, one of the top 2 dominant meta teams at the moment. Revan is more dominant, but Traya is definitely up there and great in all aspects of the game. Best leadership, or Sith leadership in the game. The next character, and by the way, these are in no particular order. They're basically what you're doing in the game, where you're using them at. The next character is CLS, still the best rebel leader in the game, and you don't need his leadership Zetaed for it to be amazing. I will read it with the non-Zeta. Rebel allies have plus 50% counter chance, plus 50% defense, and plus 15% offense. If you do choose to Zeta it, it adds whenever an enemy resists a detrimental effect, Rebel allies gain 5% turn meter. Great ability, best Rebel leadership ability, and he's still part of he can be dominant in the arena in part of the meta right now if you use him with 3PO. Dominant on offense, I should say. He's going to get, handled pretty well with a Revan or Traya team, but still a great leader, especially since 3PO came out. They brought out Chewie, and it was so much fun for the 2 weeks that he was dominant to have CLS, Raidhan, Chewie, R2-D2, and then I used L3. Just an absolute amazing leader, and he's been that way for the longest time, and he doesn't need a Zeta. So next, we're going to go with JTR, the best resistance leader, definitely hands down now that they nerfed Finn. In its inspirational presence ability, you do want this Zeta to get the maximum benefit out of it. Resistance allies have plus 30% critical chance and plus 30% critical damage. When they score a critical hit, they have 70% chance to inflict expose for 2 turns. This effect can't be resisted. Resistance allies gain 10% turn meter when an enemy is exposed. When a resistance ally uses a special ability, all exposed enemies lose 5% turn meter. This effect can't be resisted. If the resistance ally has no debuffs, reduce their cooldowns by 1. Wow, the best phase 1 of the heroic Sith raid leader in the game, and I can dominate with her. I can put 3PO in there and do like 6 million damage right now. I know some people keep their scavenger Rey in there instead. And with Jedi Training Rey, yes, she's dominant in most areas of the game. You don't see her in arena right now, but she's usually a character, in my opinion, you're going to want to run on offense in Grand Arena and Territory War. They just don't hold up as well on defense. If you run her on offense, you can take out quite a few teams if you run that resistance team, especially if you put 3PO in there. The other team can really struggle to even get many attacks off. Her and BB-8 go well together as well. So Jedi Training Rey is definitely in the top 10. Next, we're going to look at, oh man, I almost didn't put this character on the list, but for those of you that are first order fanatics, there would have been posters of me across America saying boycott Thunderwhack, and it's Kylo Ren unmasked and his Merciless Pursuit ability. It states, first order allies, you do want this Zetaed by the way, first order allies have plus 40% critical damage and plus 30 speed. When a first order ally scores a critical hit, they gain 20% turn meter. When a first order ally gains a status effect, they recover 5% health and 5% protection. Whenever you can recover health and protection, it's an amazing ability. Plus, you're gaining extra speed and critical damage as well. If you still run a first order team, which I know most of you do probably in Grand Arena and Territory War, I'm guessing you put them on defense, definitely the best leader to have. And hopefully more first order characters come out within the next year, because the new movie comes out in 10 months, which I'm totally pumped for as long as it's better than the last Jedi. Next, best bounty hunter leader in the game, in my opinion, that would be Bossk. Because when you use him in Territory Wars and Grand Arena, you put him on defense and you use his lead. You definitely want it Zetaed. Excuse me. You definitely want it Zetaed. Also, he's the easiest bounty hunter to use as a leader to get Chewie, in my opinion. I've seen many people get it done with Boba Fett and other leaders as well. Some people argue that Jango is a better leader. I don't think so. I think Bossk is the best bounty hunter leader in the game. And his On the Hunt ability, you definitely want Zetaed. That helps it big time. All bounty hunters gain 50% max protection and 50% tenacity. All bounty hunter allies gain 100% defense while at full health. Whenever an enemy suffers a debuff or resist, all bounty hunter allies recover 5% health and protection. When Bossk is in the leader slot and not the ally slot, the following contract is active. Contracts are important. If you deal damage 10 times to the weakest enemy, which is actually pretty easy to do, as long as you're a bounty hunter when you do that, all bounty hunter allies gain plus 50 speed for the rest of the battle, and their payouts are activated. Plus 50 speed that's a lot of speed, guys. So if you can get to it, when I'm facing a Bossk team in Grand Arena and Territory War, and they get to their contracts in the match, because if you have a well-modded bounty hunter team with a Bossk lead, with good speed in their mods, good offense in their mods, it can be extremely hard to take down. Some people like to place them in the back in Grand Arena because they'll use their JTR team or one of the other good teams that can help take out bounty hunters in the front to take out a better team, and boss can be a nightmare to take out, especially when they're well modded and if they get to contracts. That extra, the regeneration of health and protection cannot be understated either. That's why he's definitely in here. And the best bounty hunter leader in the game. Next, the best scoundrel leader in the game. I hope that they come out with Hondo one day. I kind of hope he's neutral because I really like him being a good character like he is in Rebels and in Clone Wars. He was kind of a bad character at times. He was, more for himself. But the best leadership ability in Scoundrels right now, in my opinion, is Kira. As you can see, I don't have her geared up very much. This is a person I extremely want to gear up and, maybe put a Zeta on her as well. And that is because she is just so dominant in Territory Wars and Grand Arena. In fact, you have the Smuggler's Run resource event going on right now. I run her as the leader, and her leadership ability is amazing. It completely completes that whole Scoundrel circle, and it doesn't need a Zeta. That's great. Scoundrel allies have plus 20% critical damage. In addition, whenever they score a critical hit, they recover 10% protection and gain an additional bonus based on their roll for the rest of the battle. This is when they score a critical hit. Attackers gain 10% offense, stacking, max of 3 stacks. Tanks, plus 20% critical avoidance, again stacking, max 3 stacks. And support or healer, plus 20 speed, maxing 3 stacks. You can get up to 60 speed. Those bonuses are unbelievable. Plus, the regeneration of protection whenever you're able to regenerate anything. Again, the survivability is amazing, and you're able to critically hit more. Great leader, great in Territory Wars and Grand Arena. That's why she makes the top 10. She's one of the characters, one of the few on here that I could understand if people would think that, oh, why is she in there? But for Scoundrels, definitely the person to go with. Next, General Veers. His leadership ability is not a Zeta, but his unique ability is, and if you Zeta his unique ability, it's going to help you with the Imperial Troopers team as well. I do not have Range Trooper. Everybody tells me I should be leveling up and starting up Range Trooper, which I'm going to. Like I said, I have a lot of characters I'm saving gear for, too, whether it be Grievous or some of the new droids, if they're absolutely dominant. Whether it be Darth Malak or Darth Revan coming next month. I'm kind of hoarding gear. So I don't have Range Trooper going right now, but Imperial Troopers are still great, even with Shore Trooper, in my opinion, because they can take out Night Sisters. And it's his Imperial Assault Commander leadership ability. Again, this does not require a Zeta. Empire allies gain plus 30% offense. Imperial Trooper allies gain 20 speed and gain 10% turn meter whenever they gain a buff. Extra turn meter, extra speed. These guys can go a lot. Buffs are going to be spread, especially you want to run Colonel Stark. Colonel Stark helps tremendously. And he's not, dominant in all aspects of the game, but the Imperial Troopers are a squad that can fill in the gaps in a lot of places. In Grand Arena and Territory War, they're a team you can use on. You definitely want to save them for offense because they can take out Night Sister teams who can be nightmares to take out if you don't have Imperial Troopers. Same in Territory Wars. And, in some of the raids, they're not like the go-to team to use, but they can do a decent amount of damage to help get that 1 or 2%. So definitely one of the best leaders in the game, in my opinion. Imperial Troopers are a lot of fun to use as well. He could be another character I could see you guys arguing that wouldn't be on here. Next. For the longest time, he was the best leader in the game. He's still very useful to fill in the gaps, and there's a lot of teams that run him with Wampa. I still use him as a lead in Grand Arena and Territory Wars, and it's none other than Rex because it's so versatile. His brother-in-arms leadership ability, this is not a Zeta. This is also why it's huge. Clone allies gain 20% max health, and other allies gain half that amount. In addition, whenever an ally suffers a critical hit, all clone allies gain 15% turn meter, and other allies gain half that amount. You can use him with any team. You're going to be gaining 7.5% turn meter when anybody suffers a critical hit. It's amazing. You're going to be going tons of times. One, he can cleanse himself as well, but it's his leadership ability that takes him to the next level. For 2016 and 17, he was probably the best leader in the game. And I know he's fallen off quite a bit, but he's still a great character to have. If you're going to run a whole clone trooper squad, though, I would suggest running a Cody lead. I think his leadership, and that is a Zeta ability leadership, is better. But Rex, versatile, still one of the best leaders in the game, can be used in so many areas. And if you're a newer player, definitely put some time into him. Now, this last person here is a character that I can understand if you want to replace her with a different character. The other character I have is actually on the honorable mention list, and that is Mother Talzin. I think that her leadership ability is the best for Night Sisters in all aspects of the game. Night Sisters are so good. And you do want this Zeta, by the way. Night Sister allies have plus 50% potency and plus 30 speed. When a Night Sister ally uses a special ability, they inflict plague on the selected target for 3 turns, which can't be evaded. When an enemy resists a detrimental effect, Night Sister allies gain 5% turn meter. When a Night Sister ally uses a basic ability during their turn, a random defeated Night Sister ally is revived with 50% health and called to assist. Then the revived ally is immediately defeated unless an enemy was defeated. The revived ally can't be revived by this effect again until the end of the next turn. Let's talk like, you know, there was phase 3 of the Heroic Sith Raid for a while, phase 1, but in Grand Arena Territory War, most of the time you see her as the leader, and when you see them in Arena, which I still do at times, I usually see a Mother Talzin lead. So definitely a character you should put time into, definitely want the Zeta. And if you run Night Sisters, and they are one of the best factions of the game, a faction that I still have to get much higher up there, please put a Zeta on her. So that is the top 10. We went over Revan, CLS, JTR, Traya, Kira, Bosk, General Veers, Kylo Ren Unmasked, Rex, and Mother Talzin. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to go over the 5 honorable mention. And these are legitimately honorable mentions this time because they're replacing characters if you don't have them. First off, if you don't have Revan, you're going to want to run Bastila. Bastard's leadership ability is amazing. You do want the Zeta, and it's even viable at 3 stars if you're a beginner at the game. At the start of the battle, Jedi allies gain 15% turn meter and protection up, 200%, which can't be dispelled, by the way, and Jedi tank allies gain taunt for 1 turn. While Jedi allies have protection up, they have plus 150% tenacity and deal 35% more damage. This is still an absolutely amazing leadership ability. In fact, in Territory Wars and Grand Arena, I'll find a lot of people can separate 2 Jedi teams, even when they have Revan, and have a Bastila team on defense and a Revan team on offense. You know, she potentially could have made the top 10 overall because, oh man, they can take so much damage. They can't be given debuffs either. It's nuts. But because Revan usually replaces her, she is the honorable mention character for Jedi and honorable mention one of them overall. So please, if you don't have Revan, and you need her to get Revan too, so definitely a character you should be working on and leveling up if you don't have Revan. Next, to replace Traya. If you do not have Traya, the next best Sith leader in my opinion is Emperor Palpatine. And his leadership ability also has a Zeta. Empire and Sith allies have plus 35% potency and 35% max health. You're going to want a Zeta this, by the way. Jedi and Rebel enemies have minus 35% potency and minus 35% evasion. When an Empire ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they gain 20% turn meter. When a Sith ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they recover 20% health. When a debuff on an enemy expires, Empire and Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. If you don't have Traya, go with him. And what's great is you can throw together 2 Sith teams easily for Grand Arena and Territory War and keep Palp and, because with the Triumvirate, you're running Traya, Scion, Nihilus, sometimes Thrawn, Nest, or Sith Trooper. You can run Palpatine, Vader, Thrawn if you're using him, Shore Trooper, Count Dooku, other Sith characters, Darth Maul, Sith Assassin, if you want to use them as well. So it's nice because he's not just a replacement for Traya, he can be used in other areas as well. So definitely makes the honorable mention list. If we're going to talk about a leader that still should be in the honorable mention because its leadership ability is still really good, and if you don't have Jedi Training Rey, I'm still putting Finn on the list. It's still good, just not what I wanted to use it for. Resistance allies gain 30% offense and 60% defense, and other allies gain half that amount. Whenever a resistance ally loses foresight, they gain advantage for 2 turns, and whenever an enemy takes damage from exposed, reduce the cooldowns of all resistance allies by 1, and grant them 35% turn meter. Actually, I don't know, is this the updated one or is this the old one? I think this is the old one. I don't think they've actually dropped the update yet with him. So yeah, this is great. But the updated ability, I'm pretty sure, it's not like this. So I don't think this is the updated ability. If it is, because I haven't, I forgot exactly what it looks like because I was so frustrated. I'll leave a comment in the comment section below. But he is still in the 5 honorable mention because if you don't have Jedi Training Rey, who's a legendary character, Finn is still pretty good. Now we're going to talk about who can replace Talzin in a Night Sister lead, or some people say Talzin could replace her. It's Asajj Ventress. Still a great character. Her leadership ability is pretty darn good as well. You do want the Zeta to put the maximum effect on it. Night Sister eyes have plus 30 speed, plus 30% offense, gain 50% turn meter when they fall below 100% health, and have a 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter when they damage an enemy. This turn meter removal can't be resisted. A lot of people use her as the leader in Phase 4 of the Heroic Sith Raid because you're gaining extra speed, extra offense, plus some turn meter whenever anybody falls below 100% health, which is why you most likely want to use Daka with her most of the time when you're using them in different aspects because they can continually heal. And they can remove 20% turn meter as well when they damage an enemy, a 50% chance to do that. Great leader. I prefer Talzin, but a lot of people run with Asajj as well, and it's definitely another great leader, so she's definitely in the honorable mention. Now, these next character, there's one character here, but I kind of wavered back and forth on who actually could replace this character. We're going to talk about who could replace CLS. There are two characters that fight for the spot. One is the person I actually have in here, which is Wedge. His leadership ability is not a Zeta either, by the way, and it's pretty fun to use. Rebel allies have plus 30% offense, recover 15% of their max health and 10% turn meter on a critical hit, and recover 25% of their max health whenever they defeat an enemy. You're able to regenerate health, and you're adding 30% offense. It's a good ability. You definitely want to run him with Biggs if you use this. And you know, that's why I put him in there, because it's still solid in a lot of areas. It was meta for a while, actually. But the other character that was so close, like literally just inches below Wedge, was Admiral Akbar. And he's come into much more use now that Akbar's capital ship is the dominant one in the game. Rebel allies have plus 25 speed. Great, you're gaining speed, and plus 10% tenacity. In addition, this is what's really cool. Whenever an ally uses an ability that isn't an attack, they call a rebel ally to assist. So basically, when you're not using a basic or something like that, you're going to be calling a bunch of assists. And especially if you run this with like 3PO, other assists can be called, and you can get a lot of damage going on with that as well. So that's why, you know, he was close, but I still put Wedge in there. So that is the top 10 plus the 5 honorable mention list, guys. If you agree with me or disagree with me, please leave comments in the comment section below. Like I said, Grievous is, like I said, 99% sure going to be on this list. And I would probably replace Rex with that. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the subscribe button, like the video, click the notification bell so you can be alerted to all videos that I post. Also, I'm leaving a link to my Discord server and Patreon page in the description below. Make sure you check that out. And again, I mention this all the time, comment section. I want constructive criticism. I want you guys to, you know, let me know if you think different leaders should be in here. Somebody should I have replaced, or should Chief Chirpa have been in here? Let me know that as well, and also give me video ideas, because this was a video idea that somebody gave me in the comments the other day that I'd never thought of, and I had a lot of fun with it. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Otherwise, peace out, and may the Force be with you.